We had a team member that his wife wanted a divorce. And I just had a feeling I should go out to the house because he had left work. He was really upset. Caught him in his car, and he had a bottle of sleeping pills. And he had done some research on the internet and found out that it wasn't enough sleeping pills to kill himself. And so he was on his way at that very moment to get a second bottle of sleeping pills. And so we were able to talk and was able to get him to the emergency room. But I wonder if I hadn't shown up at that time, whether he would still be here or not. I'm geared to be a pastor. Don't ask me to, talk in front of a couple thousand people. That's pretty hard for me. But just sitting down with someone one-on-one, I just don't like to see people in pain and suffering. And I just want to help them get to a better place.
Vermeer started in 1948. My dad was making a lot of implements for the farm to make work easier. As demand grew, he decided to start a manufacturing company in 1948. Started with one product, one person working with him, and the company continued just to grow throughout the next 7 decades with 160 different products and with 1.5 million square feet of manufacturing space right here in Pella, and then more manufacturing space in a couple of other areas around the world. And right on the Vermeer Mile, we have about 2,500 people who are part of our team. So it's kind of the all-American story.
We look at our most valuable asset would be our employees. I worked for the company 40 years, and I was hearing things from plant superintendents and people in the plants saying, people are coming to me with problems that I really can't take care of. These employees are looking upon me as a father figure, and I really don't have those skills. Plus, there's a lot of production that has to be done.
In the 1990s, we started some programs called Lunch and Learns, and we would bring in a clinical psychologist often to talk about areas that people were dealing with.
And some of those topics were marriage, raising children in a blended situation, children with problems, finances, and we would have 300 to 400 employees coming to those lunches.
And after really the success and knowing how it was important to come alongside our team members in their whole life, realizing that they spend a lot of their time every day here at work, but they also have another life. They've got life with a family. They've got life with a lot of issues sometimes. My brother Bob had been aware of chaplaincy programs in businesses. And he said, I really think we need to consider having a chaplain on staff here at Vermeer. And if they have an issue, a life issue, and they just need someone to talk to, we have 3 chaplains who are there for them.
I was the only chaplain for 2 or 3 years, and that became overwhelming. And so the Vermeer family and senior leadership saw that there was a need. And so we hired a second chaplain, which took a tremendous amount of pressure off of me. And then the ministry continued to grow and expand, and the demand increased. And then we hired a third chaplain. So now I'm the lead chaplain to 2 other chaplains, and we have a chaplain assistant too that helps with the ministry.
I think that the philosophy would just be a ministry of presence, being available to anyone that needs to talk at any time. If it's a phone call at 3 in the morning, or if they get a call to go to the hospital at 5 a.m., they go. And it's a ministry of just being there, being present, being caring, and being the face of Vermeer to the employees.
We divide up the mile, so I cover plants 1 through the part center. We have another chaplain that covers plants 4 through 7, and then we have a chaplain that covers just the office areas.
It's nice to have a chaplain nearby that can take the time. Oftentimes with the whir of machinery behind us, it's nice to just be able to unburden whatever's on your mind with a person who's not going to judge and just not going to preach at you, but just listen. So that's basically what I do every day. It's pretty awesome.
And we cover third shift too. So we come in off shift, second shift, third shift. We try to do that on a regular basis because it's important to be present and for folks to get to know us and to trust us.
One of the times that I've utilized the chaplains quite a bit is when I was an off-shift manager and second or third shift. So folks have already had part of their day and maybe had something going on, but they had to just drop it and come to work. And a lot of times that can be very stressful for them.
And what would you do?
Well, first I'd ask them, how they were doing and if they had someone to talk to or if they needed someone to talk to. That's the first thing I always ask, because some folks already have a support system and they're good. But other folks, maybe in that moment they need somebody, or maybe they need to talk to somebody later. One of the big reasons that I rely on the chaplains is that I am not the best at that. It's not my strength is making lists and organizing. I can listen to people, but I don't always have the right answers for them. And I think that's where the chaplain's strengths come in, to be able to call them for that.
Tell me about the 4 Ps.
When we talk about our 4 Ps, those are really the foundation of our business. Principles at the center, because principles then have a direct effect on the other 3 Ps, which are people, product, and profit. The chaplaincy program is not here to convert people. The chaplaincy program is to come alongside folks. And it fits very well with our 4P philosophy of trying to help people be their very best and understanding that people deal with real life every day at work and outside of work.
If a person is stressed, their mind isn't always on their work. It's also very much a safety thing. I think when people can focus on what they're doing at work and don't have to be concerned about other things, that's a healthier situation also.
Our chaplains have come alongside people who've been dealing with a lot of suicidal thoughts, as well as come along parents who are dealing with children who are going through suicidal issues. Those are huge issues.
Made a trip out early in the morning to help with a crisis with an 11-year-old little girl. And she was having some suicidal ideations, if you will, and parents very worried and didn't know what to do. And their first reaction, their knee-jerk reaction, was call the chaplain. So it was my privilege to go into the home and just sit down in the living room with their daughter and say, "What do you want to tell me? What's going on with you?" And she just said, I don't feel right. I don't want to be here." And so we got her some help. We were able to refer her to the right people in the community that could give her good care. And I'm happy to say that a year later, she's back to school and doing well and participating in the activities she loves. She's doing great.
Well, the one that stands out is Earl. And there was an accident that he was involved in, very serious.
Ended up getting my leg broken 4 places below my knee, my kneecap shattered, my femur broke, my pelvis shattered, my right wrist broke, and my right elbow.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so I was in a coma for about 3 weeks.
He about bled out. It's a miracle that he's still here today.
When I came out of that coma, it was a very pleasant surprise to find that my chaplain was sitting there in the room, and that kind of made me feel like maybe everything was going to be okay, you know. As you know, when you go through an experience like that, your faith becomes a little stronger, and to have someone on the team to kind of be there guiding you and helping you with that was a big plus. And still today, you know, we see him around the shop, and If you got issues at home or something going on, it's just really, really helpful.
They've developed trust relationships with a lot of the employees. Has been phenomenal. The fact that they're performing marriages or performing funerals.
Kevin and I have laughed many times about the weddings that are so wonderfully done in unique ways, in boats and outdoors and in cowboy boots and with cowboy hats and tractors, and they've had all kinds of unique and wonderful weddings that Kevin's been a part of, and the other chaplains. And for the chaplains to have that flexibility that says, I want to bless this couple and bring God and his care into this new family that's being created with this wedding. It's an integral part of the factory community to feel like the chaplain is a part of life events that occur.
The opportunities that our chaplains have had to come alongside folks as they are dealing with maybe a parent who's dying, and being able to help them connect to a greater being in that process. Wow, those are key things that really warm our heart.
If you had to do it over again, would you do it again?
I love chaplaincy.
Why? Why do you love chaplaincy?
Again, I'm geared to be a pastor. I'm kind of motivated by Matthew 25, to minister to the last, the least, the lost, and the lonely. And I guess I have experienced all of those at one time in my life, and I understand what it's like to be in those places. They have such a heart for the people that they would have a chaplain program and really give us almost really free rein to do what we need to do. Not many companies that would do that, and I just think it's pretty special. I think it's a reflection of the culture that the Vermeer family and senior leadership has fostered and developed, but it's just a privilege to be here.
I will tell you, at first, when we announced this, we had a few people who said, this is a terrible idea. I mean, you shouldn't be doing this at the workplace. And some of those same people later said, this is the best thing that you ever did for us.